So Steadwick D, good lad, was first one to break 5 billion, and Denoga maybe has broken 6 billion by now. They're running Galu and Cyclops, and I know good lad at least has a video up of that. I'm running Sandro here. I got 5.6 bill. I'm running Sandro for reasons explained in the previous Steadwick Defense video. Basically, Implosion does a bunch of damage all at once and is great for overkill damage. But the Cyclops is key to any new Steadwick Defense strat, because it's all about his boulder throw, which you get from his weapon. Here's a really quick run of demonstrating 2 billion before the first boss by abusing boulder throwing, and I'll get to all this. So here's my Cyclops. Obviously my power is really high. It's these emblems. I have my best emblem set on them, the crit damage version. So each one of these has 10% crit damage on them. Now, lots of times in this mode, you want to avoid using emblem, at least ones with holy emblem attack. I've been over the mechanics of how scoring works in other videos. If you don't understand that, you can find that elsewhere. But in this particular case, because boulder throwing from his weapon is going to do so much overkill, it makes up for the points lost by the anti-mitigation. His awakenings don't matter that much. The main thing is this boulder throwing right here. So as soon as you unlock it, he does 200% max HP to all enemies within the area where his regular attack is going every 15 seconds. And at 1 star, that will happen. It says on his first attack, but it's not. Presumably it's earlier than it would be otherwise. It's before 15 seconds. So you get an extra one there. And then 2 and 3 do increase his DPS, his attack speed. The rest and anything past that is just defensive stuff. I can't set up the actual formation because you can't put tanks in the back row. Dwarf, for the dwarf how to give units damage, she's going to go behind the genie there. Genie ends up putting the red buff on Cyclops. Everlasting Secret for 24% and change more earth spell damage, which is all of my spell damage, which is responsible for half my score, like almost 3 billion probably. In this case, unit damage does give us enough overkill to make it worthwhile, but generally that's what you want to avoid in Steadwick D. And most buffs, Archmage, Dwarves, Genie, Mermaid, Revi, Paladin, all unit damage, since we'd rather boost crit damage. If you watched the DI video I put out a couple days ago regarding boosting total damage and boosting the ratio, you don't want to boost the ratio here. So for boosting total damage, Druid is good for this here crit damage and crit hit. 15 seconds, everyone around it. And then this with the Awaken, it increases unit damage by 20% when it's the spell immune shield, which I've used sometimes. I have my Sandro marked for these runs with Earth Mastery now that it's out, 3 cast. But I've run it with Death Ripple too, and with Death Ripple you can use that to basically bring 9-man units from melting the boss and then kill them, or not kill them by using Death Ripple when the Druid's bubble is up. Awakened Monk is another one that's good for total damage with crit, I think. Yeah, crit damage for the first 2 minutes, 20% crit damage to everybody. So people don't need to be in proximity. People in proximity will get high morale from them, but the crit damage will reach everybody, including the Cyclops up there. Whereas the Cyclops needs to be next to the Dwarf and the Druid to get their full buffs. And then Lich. The reason we're bringing Lich Waspport works as well. Just to get summons out to bunch them up for implosions and for boulder throws, and also to stop the very first drill from taking down the wall, or more drills from taking down the wall if that's the route you decide to go. She does a bunch of summons because I have her weapon maxed out, and also because she's Necro. I get a chance for cooldown and mana every time I ult. Storm Elemental I'm using to clear bosses. I have him with the strong emblems too. This here, the chance at 300% damage, which I've used Awaken to double. That gets you some overkill even though he's a 9-man. Also, he has very fast projectile speed and target acquisition compared to marksmen or elves, who both would do more damage on the boss technically, but they'd spend the rest of the time aiming at something and then shooting arrows up in the air that never land. Now for support units and adjutants, Galu adjutant crit damage for ranged units. That's awesome. That's amazing. And then Cieli and Zydar both boost spell damage. She lowers their magic resist and he increases intelligence. His adjutant, I've tested it, and it is more effective than hers, even though it's not nearly as high of a level. And then the units I picked, 4 of them are kind of weak, these 4 here, but they're raiders, like Cyclops and the Earth Elemental also are. So what we've done here is we get 6 of them, it brings us up to 8% unit damage, and it doubles against beast units, which does not matter because there aren't any here. But still, so it's 8% unit damage. Now the stronghold one can get up to 10% unit damage, but you have to, that's for 8 units. Whereas the other one is 8% for 6 units, so it's slightly better per unit. And then also, this guy and Cyclops are raiders and stronghold. We want to bring them both. By not leveling my support slots evenly, if I need to bring a couple weak units to fill in some of the bonus groups for extra unit damage or whatnot, or if I don't have all the support troops emblemed up or whatever, I can put the weaker ones towards the bottom. Also, if you look close, you'll see that they are, none of them are at the same level and they ascend, which allows me to conveniently figure out exactly which units are currently the most powerful given their emblems and whatnot, by switching them back and forth and seeing if the power goes up. If my power goes up, then that means I just move the stronger unit into the higher slot. So now I know I have them in maximum order without having to go look at their power or anything. And that is what determines here what my 1-man and 9-man ranged boosts are for hit points and I'm assuming offense's attack. So this is, again, total damage versus the faction and class and grouping bonuses, which generally are unit damage and boost the ratio. Also getting 4% from stronghold, and ranged, unfortunately, is only 1 or 4 mans, but it'll help on bosses a little. So with 1-star weapon, the first boulder throw comes at 53 seconds. You don't see it, and it basically just instantly has an effect wherever he's targeted, no matter where the actual rocks he chucks far along the trajectory they've traveled. And we're mostly dealing with 9-mans here, so which of the actual 9 units he's targeting has an impact as well. This first one is a total whiff, because the druid kills the last little guy that he was aiming for right before it goes off, so it doesn't actually hit anything. You can see the circle here. Boom. Nothing. Total whiff. But it's actually pretty easy to land it. I just killed a little bit too many. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the earth arrow to kill the bottom half of the units in his lane so that he's aiming up at the top there. I have nothing attacking the top lane, so the boulder throwing is going to get the entire top lane right here. Boom. I'm going to rewind that just a few seconds here and then let it play through. This is the 5.6 billion run. So I was using red dragon. You can get the boulder throw in and spawn this next wave and have the red dragon instantly wipe it, so you skip to the wave after that. So it's wave 3. You need more time. The next wave spawns when all but 2 of the units from the first wave are dead, completely dead. I rushed as quickly as possible with spells in the second wave in order to get these 4 units up here on top in the third wave for the second boulder throw. More units spawn on the top than bottom, and big clumps of units all close together for boulder throw overkill is what we want. I use Dragonfather here. He bunches them up for some good overkill. Now that we have non-undead units, you used my first ult there. Now bear in mind, the ult's going to give everyone low morale except for my Lich, which slows their attack, so I want to avoid it during bosses, but their attacks really don't mean that much. That's why I don't think Galu is necessarily that important. I didn't have to stun the bottom here because I have skeleton summons. You can see I'm working on getting a bunch up top. Right here is a section where I like to do, like say, Titan's Thunder. And then right as the Titan's Thunder about to finish them, the Implosion blows up for maximum overkill. Can't see a whole lot up here on the top. I actually want this wall to fall because it's gonna, my units are gonna make the first stronghold waves bunch up good for some overkill. So I'm only at 1.8 billion on this boss. As you saw before, I can get up to 2 billion, but that's actually still pretty good. And I mean, I'm sure with perfect luck and execution, I could get over 6 billion, but melt this boss down quick. You're gonna get boulder throws on bosses. You don't want them, obviously, because you get a lot more nuking a bunch of guys. I'll see how they're all kind of moving up into the top lanes. That's because I have all those units up there. If it was just 1 or 2 summons, they wouldn't all head up that way. Their targeting is kind of weird. I don't know if you just saw that, but I did an alt earth arrow combo into my implosion and got 300 million. Okay, so right here, instead of using my spells in the clump up there, this one singular guy here, I'm killing him as quick as possible because I know that boulder throw is about to go off. I finish him. Bam, here comes a boulder throw. He hits that giant group, gets almost 400 million off it. So basically, you want to if he's targeting, just a single unit, you want to try and kill it before boulder throws going off. And that's what I'm doing here. Again, you see they run in, that wolf rider there. I maybe didn't see him in time. But I got it all cleared out, so he throws the boulder throw into the clump again. That's also part of the job of the Storm Elemental, is to clear out the trash quick that gets up ahead and might distract my Cyclops. Now right here, I just noticed when making this video that the boulder throw should have gone off right about there. It doesn't. He kind of just stands there and doesn't attack anything, even the boss. And it wouldn't have gotten, there's some trash with the boss, it might have got some points, but regardless of the points, see here it goes now. So when he finally does it on the boss, because those seconds, 8 seconds approximately that it got delayed, even though that boulder throw itself wasn't going to do much damage, that put us under a minute on the clock, so that basically cost us a boulder throw. So we get 11 total instead of 12. And 2 on this boss, which is unfortunate. But I got him down pretty early here. You want to aim for... I don't always have over... This is really good to have over 4 billion win before any of this trash is done. But usually you can get pretty close. 38, 39 is what I'm usually at. But yeah, as you see here, I'm at 45 with 30 seconds left. That boulder throw is only worth 100 million. As the trash gets harder, you're not going to get as much overkill damage on it. But we'll look at the stats here in a second, and here is about getting the damage with the Implosion, Earth Arrow, and the ult. Just jack the damage up as much as possible before the end. It gets kind of hard because you can't see them very well, but they're weaker because they're ranged units. So for me, if I ult them and then hit them with a Implosion, it's going to kill them, finish them off, and get some overkill damage. So I totaled up just roughly there. We're looking at 1.3, 1.4 billion damage from boulder throws. And that could have been 6 easy because I was not at 2 bill on the first boss or anything. Yeah, if you look here, Cyclops did essentially 2 billion, 1.97. No other unit even broke 300 million, which is why, like I said, his attack, his regular DPS doesn't matter that much, because if 1.4 of that was from boulder throws, then only, half a bill is from his regular attack. And the second biggest damage was from Implosion, and then my ult, and then Titan's Thunder are all higher than any unit managed to do outside the boulder throwing. So anyhow, yeah, you're going to need Cyclops to be competitive here. And I'm pretty sure we're pushing the threshold here, as there can't be any more units. So it's all about increasing overkill at this point. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's helpful. Anyway, thanks for watching.